Well, I feel like it's becoming a yearly tradition now. We're talking about the weather year in review. So we're going to start off with getting right into January of last year.
Yeah, the winter probably didn't stand out too much to most people, but a couple things did. One was an ice storm in mid-January. We actually dodged a pretty big bullet. Even though we had a lot of ice accumulation, temperatures warmed up right toward the end of the event to save us. This was a major, major disaster in southern Kansas. We shared in some of it, but again, we kind of got off the hook just a little bit. Snow was hard to find over the winter. You probably got to go to mid-February. We had a pretty decent snow event in central Nebraska, dropped 6-7 inches of snow around Ord in that area. But really, places like Grand Island, Kearney, and Hastings, we didn't even have a 4-inch snow last winter, so it really didn't feel much like winter.
Yeah, and we can talk a little bit about the February warmth. It was a record-breaking month for some.
Yeah, it was. We were cool to start, but then we had about 20 days where we were just way above normal. Several days in the 70s in late February, kind of got an early start on the spring feel. Which was, I think, an interesting way to end the winter, but for the most part, most of us like the nice weather, so yeah. I think that was one good thing.
For sure. And then getting into the severe season this past year, we've had some hail events, some heavy rain events that moved through the area in the summer and even in the spring months.
Yeah, June was an active month really across the whole state of Nebraska. We had a tornado outbreak in the Panhandle on the 12th with 8 tornadoes. We had large hail around here on the 12th and 13th, tennis ball size hail, millions of dollars of damage around the Grand Island Hastings area. Eastern Nebraska was pummeled with an extremely high wind event, tornadoes, but a very high wind event, over 100 miles per hour, widespread damage. June was a very active month, but it was a little bit of a slow start before that. One thing we forgot to mention was even in severe weather season, we had a snowstorm in western Kansas and western Nebraska around May 1st that really dumped a lot of heavy snow, unseasonably late heavy snow. So a cold start, an active June, led into really a wet part of the latter summer.
Yeah, but that changed heading into the fall months and the late fall as well.
Yeah, we've had a dry spell here since really October. A couple of decent rain events in there. Fortunately, we had good rain in the late summer season. Some areas got too much. Custer County, 20 inches, that's too much. But as we got into the late fall and early part of the season now, we're getting back on the dry side, especially in topsoil moisture. We're probably okay subsoil for now, but we'd like to see more moisture coming. And it looks like as we round out the year, there's a little bit of light snow, a little bit of moisture coming, so it's going to start to feel like winter here.
Well, thanks so much for joining us every year to talk about the weather and review. There's always a lot to talk about.
There is a lot. You don't think so, but then in retrospect, a lot actually happened.
Yeah, it's always a busy time of year, regardless of what time of year. We'll be back with more on NTV's Grow coming up after this.